Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cop Council. How are we all? Hopefully, all of you are on a fantastic Friday evening, wherever you are around the world. If you're like me as well, sweltering in this heat, then I do feel your pain as well, because it is absolutely ridiculously warm yet again today. Like we've started every stream this week. Anyway, but hello, hopefully, everyone's having a fantastic day. Nevertheless, but of course, we are here for Liverpool versus Crystal Palace Premier League preview. Again, games will be coming thick and fast now, of course, and it only feels, obviously it's a few days since Liverpool last played Fulham, but it feels forever in some aspects as well. But as you can see, I am joined by a very special guest, and that is Doug from the Dugout Football Channel. Doug, how are you doing, my friend?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good, mate. Tried being in an office 5 days this week on 27 degrees. Not pleasant, but I'm good. I'm doing very, very well. Thank you very much for having me. And it's only fitting that we play on the 30th anniversary of the Premier League. We started the very first game on the Premier League, 1992, against Nottingham Forest, lost 1-0. So hopefully, on the 30th anniversary of the Premier League, it'll be a much better result against Palace.
You'd hope so, at least. Anyway, of course, Jurgen Klopp speaking earlier on about what was his favourite Premier League moment of all time. And his most favourite moment was Willian scoring that penalty against Manchester City to make Liverpool Premier League champions, which I think there's probably been better moments than that in the Premier League, but we'll take it anyway from what Jurgen had to say in today's press conference as well. But we'll have, of course, all that news as well. We'll have, of course, injury news. We'll also speak as well about the Ballon d'Or nominees. Look, the Ballon d'Or's a load of shite, but we'll talk about it nevertheless. And of course, we'll be speaking about Crystal Palace as well at the beginning of the show and having a brief conversation about them this season. Of course, we already played them once this year in pre-season in Singapore. If you guys remember. Anyway, but John's in saying loving the heat at the minute. John, you're a nutter. Absolutely no. Absolutely hate it at the minute. Anyway, but Dave's in as well saying the boys. Hello, Dave. Hopefully on a fantastic day, my friend. Anyway, but yeah, again, guys, as well, if you're new around here viewing us for the first time, then please hit the subscribe button, hit that like button as well. Hopefully the stream is all good and okay. And hopefully the heat isn't melting my phone at the minute, like I think it did the other night when I sounded like a complete robot. Anyway, but we will get on then to, of course, Crystal Palace. Now, Doug, last week, a 2-0 loss to Arsenal, a very, cagey and a very mixed preseason for Palace. A lot of players, didn't train, didn't, wasn't involved in preseason for a big part for Crystal Palace's preseason. But, for last week, even though Arsenal, I think, ran away with the headlines, I thought they did okay in the game. I didn't think, obviously, people said they got battered and so on. And in some elements, yes, they did get battered, I think, in the first 20 minutes against Arsenal. But apart from that, I thought that, they had a very, very decent game, but just lacked creativity going forwards. But how have you made of, obviously it's too early to tell, but of course, Crystal Palace so far this season?
Yeah, I totally agree with what you just said there. I thought they played well against Arsenal, and despite being losing 2-0, I think they'll feel they could have maybe took something out of that game. Like if obviously Bayu does better with his header, if it doesn't go straight to Ramsdale, then I think that's probably a goal. Zaha had a chance. I think it was Edward had a header that was straight at Ramsdale as well. But this is the thing with Crystal Palace is that every time, every window, they always seem to strengthen, and I think they have strengthened again. One big miss, though, that I did notice, Chico Kuati, he is not at the club anymore, so that is going to be very, very interesting to see how what their midfield's going to be like, because I know they've got another Dakure, I think, from Lons in there, and obviously no Conor Gallagher as well. But Patrick Vieira is a very, very good manager. And I think he said earlier, never say never with Conor Gallagher. So there might be something happening there. But I'm quite glad we're not facing the Conor Gallagher Crystal Palace, I have to admit.
No, that's true, and of course that is a huge miss for Crystal Palace because, going back, 12 months ago, we were all saying that Conor Gallagher was up there for being in the Premier League, team of the season, and even at the end of the season, we were saying that still from his first half of the performance of the league, and it goes to show, obviously, Decore last week. I thought had a decent game, for his first introduction into the Premier League. But they did lack that intensity, I did feel, in that midfield battle. And it is the fact that, if Patrick Vieira thinks that he can get Conor Gallagher back to Crystal Palace, I would say personally that's more of a loan option, possibly, instead of a buy. But again, is the buy option really, out there realistically? Because, of course, at the moment, the links at the moment are suggesting that Chelsea are going after Frankie de Jong.
Yeah, I think if Frankie de Jong comes in at Chelsea, then I don't think there's any place for Conor Gallagher on the Chelsea team, if I'm being honest. I think it's one of those ones where you basically decide, well, do I want to stay at Chelsea and be a bench warmer, or do I want to move on in my career and maybe go back to like Crystal Palace, because that he's been on a few loans now. He was at West Brom. He did pretty good there as well, if I seem to remember. And obviously Crystal Palace is, the best club for him at the moment. But, maybe a Newcastle might come in or something like that. So Conor Gallagher's got a big decision. To be fair, there's a few of them that's got a few big decisions at Chelsea. Obviously, Billy Gilmore's is another one. I can't see him sticking around. But obviously, I know we're obviously talking about Palace. But Conor Gallagher, for me, is the big one. As well. We've obviously seen Mark Guehi. He's obviously gone from Chelsea to Crystal Palace. So I think it would be a very, very good move for Conor Gallagher. But yeah, I think his career at Chelsea has kind of hit a buffer, and I think he might need to move on.
Yeah, 100% as well. And guys, let us know your thoughts as well on Crystal Palace and your thoughts ahead this season. I think for me, Doug, I had them going in about, I think it was 10th. I had Crystal Palace coming into this season.
Same as me.
Yeah, and I think the big plus for Palace, and we say it every single summer, the fact that Wilfried Zaha hasn't gone anywhere again. Because, of course, you had those rumours earlier on in the summer suggesting that, apparently Roma were bidding for
Dortmund as well.
Yeah, Borussia Dortmund. And again, I think the interesting scenario for me, and especially watching it last week, where it didn't really pay off, but you had Wilfried Zaha on that left-hand side and Eze as well in that midfield, in the attacking midfield role. Now, we all know that Jurgen Klopp is a big admirer of Eze. He spoke about it, I think, when Crystal Palace played Manchester City, back last season, where Klopp said, I only watched about 75 minutes, and that was the exact same time as Eze went off the pitch. So nice and subtle there, Jurgen, anyway. But for me, I think it is a big season for Eze because, of course, last season, getting an introduction into the Premier League, obviously Conor Gallagher, like we've mentioned, massively helped there as well. But now, it's that next step up now in the development for Crystal Palace. And, when you look at it as well, it's going to be huge for him because at the moment, Palace, the main goal scorer at the minute is, of course, Edouard. But, you look at it, no Benteke there anymore because he's gone to, of course, DC United.
That is the weirdest transfer of the window so far.
Yeah, no, it is. But I do think it is a huge step up as well. But who do you think, Doug, will be the standout player, at least to watch out for, against, for Liverpool to watch out for?
Well, if you remember the game last season, obviously we won 3-0, but I think it was, Edouard hit the post, I think in like the 3rd minute or something.
Yeah.
So I look at Edouard, he's definitely a one to watch. Zaha, obviously, he always seems to have a good game against us. Well, whenever he doesn't go off injured, that is. He's gone off injured at Anfield the last couple of times, I think. Olise for me. I'm a big fan of Michael Olise, and there is one player to watch out for if he comes off the bench or if he starts. Is I can't even remember his first name. Is Ibiruwai, who's come from Derby County. He played against us, I think, in Singapore. Looked pretty good when he came on.
Huge, like 6'7" centre forward.
Yeah,
yeah.
So he looks a bit of a handful as well, and obviously Doucouré in midfield, pretty bad. Pretty bad defensively from set pieces as well. But they can be a threat at set pieces. Obviously we've got Anderson, we've got Guehi. They've obviously got Tyrick Mitchell there. As well, so it'd be interesting to see who plays in goal though on Monday because obviously Guaita started the season, but they've obviously got Sam Johnston in from West Brom on a free. Now, from what Ali, Pride of South London fan TV, he was saying he did a show with a West Brom fan, and Sam Johnston is a very good goalkeeper, but he doesn't command his box very well. Now, I think that's the same with Guaita. If you look at it, now Guaita's been at Palace for as long as I can remember, probably 8-9 years now, I think it is. And one of his big criticisms is he doesn't command the box either. And we've obviously seen from last season the Keita goal. He's in no man's land, and Keita gets that volley in, and it's 3-0. So I think that's going to be very interesting to see who goes in goal for the game on Monday. Because I do think Guaita will still probably be in goal, but I think Liverpool will know all about Guaita's inability of getting set pieces. So it could be a very, very interesting battle on Monday for sure.
Yeah, 100%. I'm just looking at the predicted team to face Liverpool, and they've currently gone Guaita's to start the game. So of course it's just predicted team according to SofaScore, but again, they're pretty much not reliable, but of course again it's predictions and so on. But again, though, as well, and I actually went through their team as well. Again, Jordan Ayew, I still can't believe he still plays right wing for Crystal Palace, which is ridiculous as well. I remember both Ayew brothers playing for Swansea, back in the day.
Well, considering it's World Cup year for Ghana as well, he'll want to be playing week in, week out as well.
Yeah, 100% as well. But we'll move on then away from Crystal Palace. And for me, I think at the moment as well, I think Patrick Vieira, especially like we've spoken about 12 months on from last year, the fact that everyone had them pretty much relegated last season. If anyone remember, I think was it 442's magazine?
442 magazine had the bottom of the Premier League and Patrick Vieira to be the first manager to be sacked. Yeah. How wrong they were.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, I think at the minute Patrick Vieira is doing a phenomenal job at Palace. Yes. And especially as well, you look at the squad that came after Roy Hodgson. It was a very old squad. Now it's looking tremendously young in terms of people or players to develop, and got time to develop as well. It's not just 1 or 2 years. It's 3, 4, 5, even 6 years with some Crystal Palace players as well. So I think, and as well, of course, Crystal Palace away is one of the worst grounds to go to in terms of atmosphere. It's electric.
It's brilliant.
And that. So again, I think he's done a phenomenal job so far at Crystal Palace anyway. But guys, leave your comments in the comment section down below. Just read we've won our home opener 9 seasons in a row. Yeah, and that is true again. But of course, like we spoke about a couple of nights ago, look at Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp has never lost an opening day fixture at Liverpool. So, kept that tradition going by drawing against Fulham. But of course, we'd like to get a win against Crystal Palace as well. But we will move on then to Liverpool, and we will talk, of course, about Ballon d'Or nominees. Now, of course, tonight, the Ballon d'Ors have been, the Ballon d'Or nominees at least anyway, have been revealed. Anyway, of course, Mr. Alisson Becker has been nominated for the Puskas Award. Anyway, I think it's, of course, the likes of him, Edison, Courtois as well. Courtois is currently favourite to win the award as well, which, look, if it wasn't for a Champions League final, I would say no. But, of course, he did well in the Champions League final as well. But, of course, there are 6, of course, outfield names on the list that are from Liverpool as well. Of course, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Darwin Núñez, Mohamed Salah, Virgil van Dijk, Fabinho and Luis Diaz as well. And of course, to not forget the man, the myth, the legend, that is Sadio Mane as well. He is nominated as well. He isn't on the little graphic, but he is nominated as well. It says Liverpool-Bayern, which I just cry at every single time. It just doesn't say Liverpool anyway. But Doug, your thoughts on 6 outfield players being nominated for the Ballon d'Or, and as well before we came on air as well. I scanned over the Liverpool names. I didn't realise, as Doug reminded me, Lionel Messi is not on the list, which is for me maddening. But
That's madness.
it's again, and as well, Cristiano Ronaldo's on the list somehow. Anyway, but Doug, your thoughts on 6 Liverpool name being on the Ballon d'Or nominees list?
It's fantastic, but whether or not they get closer to the
actual awards,
award is another thing. I mean, obviously, Virgil van Dijk's been obviously the closest for a while, wasn't he? He obviously got second to obviously Messi. But I think now we're seeing the Ronaldo Messi era sort of dwindling away now. I think it is coming to an end. So if it was me, I'd give the award to Mane because of what he's done. I mean, he's won. What has he won? He's won the Africa Cup of Nations. He's taken Senegal to the World Cup. I just yes, I know there's obviously shouts for obviously Lewandowski. Yeah, I suppose you could give it to Benzema. Benzema's probably going to be in the top 3, I would say, and probably Lewandowski, I would say, probably be in the top 3 because let's be honest, Lewandowski was robbed of the award in 2020. They decided not to even give it. Thank goodness for Zoom and those kind of things those days. But I must.
Prime lockdown was a very bad memory.
Prime lockdown when we were all going and doing things on Zoom and all this nonsense. They should have just awarded it then. But yeah, look, it's very, very good. And obviously, Alisson up for I think it's Yashin.
Yashin award. I called it Puskas award, didn't I?
Lev Yashin award. So we'll wait and see. But of all the names nominated, I would say Salah's probably going to be in the top 10. And then probably the others will probably be sort of spread about sort of somewhere as well. I did see Man City fans kicking off as well that there's no Rodri. Which you have to, if you really want to be very, very mean about that, you should probably be there as well. But it is what it is.
Fabinho clear. Wait, what? I think for me, look, I'd love it if Salah was to win it, and for me, if we were to class it the first half of the season, Mohamed Salah was the best player in the world. Obviously,
he was.
From AFCON onwards, he wasn't. For me, I'd love it to be Sadio Mane. I truly would, but I think it's going to go to Benzema.
I think it's going to go to Benzema as well.
I think. We all speak about Robert Lewandowski. He was robbed of a Ballon d'Or. But I think last season, just everything that was a 1 in a million, chance just happened for Real Madrid and Benzema last season. As well, winning a league title, which, I think me and Jack looked at it. It's it's not common that Real Madrid win La Liga nowadays.
No.
As well, so we drove them to a title. Obviously, Champions League again for Madrid, and again last season there was no stopping Benzema in that Madrid shirt. But for me, it would be Benzema, but I would love it to be Sadio Mane, Mo Salah. I think both get in the top 5.
Yes.
I think Mo. I was to say right now, I'd probably say. I say this now. Watching Mbappe get second now. I'd say comfortably Mo and Sadio both get top 5 for me.
Yeah, I would say that. But the thing is, me and you both know this. It's a popularity contest at the end of the day. Yeah. It's been Messi versus Ronaldo for a long, long time, and now it seems to be dwindling. Don't be surprised if Ronaldo completely misses out on the top 3. As well, because I don't think he's been that great.
He won't get any. I think he'll be 29th, 30th. There's no way Cristiano Ronaldo.
Possibly.
If he gets inside top 10, it's a joke.
Popularity contest.
Well, exactly. If you're saying to me that Ronaldo's in the top 10 players in the world last season, you're taking the mick. In my opinion, anyway. But Anders goes in saying Liverpool will beat Crystal Palace. Chris is in anyway saying, "Evening lads, hope you're well." Scotsman and a Welshman. Very interesting. It is very interesting. Indeed. Any point to the Ballon d'Or, the award will go to Messi or Ronaldo. Would still go then when they are not in the when it comes to yeah, exactly. But again, Chris, I think we are coming slowly to that the end of the era now. We're already there, but when they're not going to get nominated, and that as well. Anyway, but team awards all day, trophies matter more. Yeah, exactly, and that's the thing. And that's the thing where I think Benzema as well will also get put number one, because of course they won the league and they won the Champions League as well anyway. But we'll move away then from the Ballon d'Or. And guys, let us know in the comment section down below anyway, and let us know on the repeat end as well. Let us know who you think will win the Ballon d'Or and where do you think the Liverpool lads will finish as well. We all know it's either going to be Mo or Darwin Núñez to win it anyway. No, but yeah, I think Mo and Sadio will both get top five for sure, 100% on that anyway. But we will then talk then a little bit of depression now, and that is Liverpool have more injuries. Yes, more injuries for Liverpool that have come up. No, it's not midfield before anyone puts it in the comments. No, it's not midfield. It is now in defence. It is Mr. Joel Matip. Ooh, let me quickly get the graphic back up. Joel Matip, as you can see over there, James Pearce confirming that Joel Matip didn't train on Friday and is a doubt for Monday. It is a suspected groin injury for Joel Matip. But Doug, it's been weird, hasn't it? The fact that Joel Matip hasn't been injured for a very long time. I think the last proper injury he had was towards the end of the crisis season. When we were struggling for centre halves, but the entirety of last season, I think apart from illness once or twice, he was available all the time.
He was.
But again, a groin injury, he could still feature for Crystal Palace. He isn't completely ruled out of the game yet, but judging from what Liverpool journalists have had to say about it, it is highly unlikely he will play against Crystal Palace on Monday. But Doug, your thoughts on another injury for Liverpool before the season's even started, really?
It's just frustrating again. I mean, and yeah, you're absolutely right. Joe Matip was hardly injured last season. He was mostly available for more often than not the majority of the games. So, but if I'm being honest, what's the more important game? Is it Manchester United or is it Crystal Palace? Now, I think you'd save him for Manchester United as well. Although, if you believe the rumours, apparently there is going to be yet another protest at that game.
I think Mo Salah's already done that, though. I think I've heard on Twitter saying that, when they're like, oh, yeah, we're going to storm out of Old Trafford. It's like, yeah, you did that last time Mo Salah turned up at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
Which was funny. But I think, to be fair, I think this, sorry to cut you off, but I think this is a very, very good opportunity now. And we're getting to start them predictions in a moment. But a very good opportunity now for Joe Gomez, to get his authority now in that position. The last time he did it, look at the run that he had in the team. Him and Virgil, I think, 40-odd games, and we conceded 9 goals or something like that. Is it the best ever, partnership in modern history for Liverpool? Anyway, and it is a big setup for him now, isn't it? To make his name the second choice now for Liverpool.
Yeah, definitely, and obviously a new number for him as well, and 2. So yeah, our new number 2, which is going to get some used to saying that. But no, Gomez, I'm happy for him. I'm happy for him to come in to the team, and hopefully him and Verge can have that good good partnership that they had in I think it was 18-19 and then obviously 19-20. So fingers crossed, because I think Joe Gomez gets a lot of unnecessary criticism at times. I still think he's a very good defender, and I still think he's got a lot to offer. And now the fact is that our 3 main centre backs that are fit at the moment: Virgil van Dijk, Joe Gomez, and Nathaniel Phillips.
Big old Nat Phillips. I think I brought on Twitter Nat Phillips to start against Crystal Palace. I think a lot of people liked it as well. I wouldn't be against it, don't get me wrong. I'd like Nat Phillips to play for Liverpool. Imagine him and Virgil van Dijk on corners for Liverpool. Jesus Christ, that's
he'll just be doing stepovers like past Wilfred Zaha, Edward, etc. if he starts.
Well, he's already done a Cruyff turn against Zlatan Ibrahimovic at the San Siro, so it could be worse anyway.
Naldini and all this.
I think Benzema should win it personally, says Chris as well. This is a Narnia world moment. Everyone, we have injuries, and Keita is fit. I am in Connor's Narnia world as well. Yes, Naby Keita is back, as well as Kostas Tsimikas as well. Both of them are fit and available back for Liverpool. This for Monday anyway. Yes, of course, I haven't really mentioned it. The game is on Monday, guys. It's on 8 o'clock on Monday. We are the last game on the weekend, which could be an encouraging thing, under the lights at Anfield. Of course, first game of the season at Anfield. Hopefully it will be a proper European night, but obviously Premier League game for Liverpool anyway. But Gary's in saying Talio red as well. Scouser says Gomez pace can help cover Trent. Yeah, exactly. Yep. And again, we've spoken about this, and we spoke about it yesterday about Harvey Elliott and getting that opportunity now with the midfields. Some midfielders being injured and so on. And again, it's the same conversation with Joe Gomez. Once he got that opportunity, like you mentioned, Doug, in 1920, in 1819 as well. We had, Joel Matip got injured, Dejan Lovren got injured, then he was given the opportunity to come into the team and did tremendously well. And it's the same type of story again, where we're right at the start of the season. Konate looks like he could be out, for a couple of more weeks. We don't know about Joel Matip yet, but this is an opportunity now for him to mark, his name properly down though, as well. And if you were to say to me right now, would you like 100% Joe Gomez or 70% Joel Matip? I'd much prefer, keep faith with
Gomez.
Keep Joe Gomez instead of having to rush, Joel Matip back. Then maybe even, then you get a longer, time period then with Joel Matip instead of play him against Man United. We won't see him then for 2-3 games.
Yeah, you want your centre backs to be fit, and I think it kind of says a lot as well that Nathaniel Phillips has obviously stayed behind as well. There was talk about the young Dutch boy as well, Vandenberg, apparently going to Burnley on loan, but obviously that's had to be postponed at the moment just in case.
I think, actually, now you mentioned that, let me quickly check. Today it got not announced yet, but today apparently all things have been done for a move to Blackburn, said Vandenberg.
Blackburn?
Yeah.
So joining Tyler Morton. Interesting. They've started really well, Blackburn. I was funnily enough, obviously I know Burnley are playing Watford at the moment, and
it's currently 1-0 Watford. Got on the TV up there.
Oh, you got on? Have you got on? It was. I was on Turfmoor House TV last night, and Dan refuses to pick Blackburn to win games, so it's quite obvious because obviously with Blackburn and Burnley. But yeah, I think Zip Vandenberg going out on loan. I think he needs a loan. I think he's not quite ready for Premier League football yet, and I think the fact that Nat Phillips has stayed behind is a very, very good thing, because he's only 3 of the centre backs that are fit right now.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. As well. But we'll get into start 11 predictions in a brief moment. Anyway, Mark is in saying, how is everyone doing? Doing fantastic. Thank you, Mark. Apart from the heat, anyway, as he said, hopefully cooler for our game on Monday night. Well, to be fair, I think the Watford Jesus Christ, the Watford and Burnley game, they have had, I think, 3 water breaks tonight. Anyway, to try and help with the heat. Anyway, Nat Beckenbauer. You don't want to play Liverpool City if they drop points. It's like taking a ball from a bulldog. You will regret it. And yeah, that's exactly. I have seen plenty of Crystal Palace fans, thanking Fulham for making, an animal of Liverpool. As of course they don't hope it as well. But it doesn't help when you have a furious Liverpool squad, at Anfield, under the lights, obviously, and players to, prove themselves realistically, as we'll talk about in starting 11 predictions. Now anyway for Liverpool. But Doug, of course, we all know the injuries. No Thiago, which is a huge miss in the midfield. But of course, like I did say, the return of Naby Keita and Kostas Tsimikas anyway for Liverpool from injury. But what would be your starting 11 for Monday night?
I'm going to go. Well, this is what I would go with anyway. I'm going to go Ali in goal. Obviously, Trent, Gomez. Obviously, Matip's not fit. Then no need to risk him. Gomez, Van Dijk, Robertson. I mean, if Costas is fit, then maybe rest Robertson for Manchester United, but I don't think he will do that. This is where it gets interesting. I'm going to go Fabinho. I'm going to go Naby Keita. And I'm going to go Harvey Elliott. And then I think it'll be Diaz, Nunez, and Salah.
Well, great minds think alike. That is exactly my team.
Hey!
We've both got the same team. But yeah, Alisson Becker in goal, Trent Alexander-Arnold at right back, Joe Gomez and Virgil van Dijk partnership, and Andy Robertson on the left. I do think, and I do agree with Doug, I think the midfield will be Fabinho, Naby Keita, and Harvey Elliott. And then, yeah, I think the first start for Darwin Núñez in a Liverpool shirt, and the first game at Anfield as well for Mr. Darwin Núñez, alongside Luis Diaz and, of course, Mohamed Salah as well. And it will be interesting, guys, and let us know your thoughts on your starting predictions in the comment section down below, and let us know your score predictions as well in the chat down below as well. I think, arguably, the only player that could get into the midfield is Jordan Henderson, probably for Naby, if Naby isn't, of course, 100%. But judging from what Jurgen had to say as well, and his facial expression when he said Naby's back from his illness, that would suggest that Naby's going to, have a big part to play on Monday as well. And I think, like we talked about in big games, I think obviously the midfield of Thiago, Jordan Henderson, Fabinho will be the midfield. But I think when you have to break down teams and have to create, I think this is probably the best midfield you're probably going to have for Liverpool. Probably, obviously Naby for Thiago in a sense, but I think, without Thiago, I think this is probably the best Liverpool midfield you can possibly have at the present moment in time. And for me, Doug, as well, when we talk about Naby, for me, he's at his best on that left-hand side as well. Last season, I think he played pretty much all of the games there, apart from, I think, Villarreal away, when he was obviously on the right-hand side of the midfield. But, I think even last season, he started the season out on the left-hand side while Thiago was recovering from injury. But, do you think there could be anyone else coming in? Do you even think Fabio Carvalho could be coming in the midfield?
I don't think so. I don't think the left side of my midfield threes where Carvalho really thrives upon. But the only other one I could think of is probably Milner, because Milner is a left-sided midfielder, and then obviously Henderson's right-sided. But
do you know what? He had a good game last week, and I didn't think about James Milner.
Yeah,
I know. Fully focused on Naby Keita and Jordan Henderson. But yeah, to be fair though, if James Milner was to start, I wouldn't be grudged against it, because he was Liverpool's best midfielder last week.
I wouldn't either. He was. He was our best midfielder last week. To be honest, I'm going into this Crystal Palace game with a breath of enthusiasm, because obviously Manchester United is on the horizon, but even the midfield three of Fabinho, Milner, and Henderson is much better than Fred and McTominay as well. So,
oh my God, I can't wait till you lose. They got Brentford this weekend, right?
They've got Brentford, and I actually think Brentford are going to give them a really hard game. Tony up against Martinez, he won't know what's happening.
Well, he didn't know what to do when Danny Welbeck was running at him.
No, definitely not. But
let alone Ivan Toney.
I am looking forward to this Palace game more than I think I have been for a while, anyway, because I think we'll be a wounded animal, and I think it's probably not the best time to play us, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, 100%. As well, for me, guys, I'm very much excited to see Darwin Núñez start a Liverpool game.
As well.
I think every single opportunity he has is going to go in the back of the net. That's, and do you know what? I hate to say it, already, but he truly has essence of Fernando Torres. I don't care what anyone says.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just I can't wait to see him play in Liverpool shirt, and to even get used to the likes of Luis Diaz and Mo Salah and get used to the way Liverpool play. It's going to be tremendous when he's fully in his element at Liverpool. Anyway, but guys, let us know your thoughts anyway in the chat, and let us know starting level predictions and of course score predictions in the chat as well. But Jeannie's in evening, boys and girls. Hello as well. Chris has gone Ali, Trent, Gomez, Van Dijk, Robertson, Fabinho, Henderson, and Elliott, Salah, Nunes and Diaz as well. And I think there's just been a red card in the Watford game, which, wow. The only spot for grabs for me is Keita, Milner and Hendo as well. Yeah, again, we've spoken about it. I think it will be Keita, though, to be awfully honest with you. No Keita in Chris's lineup. He hates him, doesn't he? Absolutely. I'd go Keita as well, says Scouser. Never, says Chris as well. No, Josh, I just think it's first home game of the season. I see Henderson starting first home game of the season. I actually want Fabinho, Keita and Elliott in my midfield. I don't see it personally. Chris, have faith, man. And again, Zane, I don't know why Nick Pope is trending on Twitter. I've seen people do this. I thought he had potentially broken something, or broken his hand, was out for a long time, and that Newcastle were looking for a replacement or something like that. But no, he's just trending because he's Nick Pope.
I actually know what's happened. Apparently, there was some kind of poll that Burger King put up, and it was literally, what do you prefer on a burger, tomatoes or gherkins? And somebody put Nick Pope. And then Burger King went and tweeted Nick Pope. And then it's just started, like Pizza Hut did it. I think Specsaver's done it. Honestly, it's just blown up, absolutely blown up. And it's just something stupid that's just completely blown up. But there's been I think it's 10,000 tweets about it or something. Just everyone's tweeting Nick Pope.
I seen it trending early on, and it was trending with Darwin Nunes for some reason. I think Nunes was just Liverpool Twitter speaking about him for Palace, and then just Nick Pope just look at it, and it's 20,000 people are speaking about Nick Pope. Why? What's he done? And I couldn't find anything. But yeah, Brentford half 5. United could have no points, and then none from us. 3 losses. That would be tremendous if that was to happen. Their worst ever start to a Premier League season ever.
And their third kit looks sick.
Yeah, I did see it earlier on. It doesn't look the best, does it? Do you remember our Toxic Thunder kit?
Yes.
Back in 2017, that was gorgeous. The United kit is disgusting.
It's horrible.
This Nick Pope nonsense that's trending. Okay, seriously, I don't get what's going on with it. I don't get it, to be honest with you, as well. Says Chris. Zane also says, true, Darwin reminds me of Torres so much. Yeah, it reminds me completely of Fernando Torres. Jeannie's gone with Alisson, Trent, Matip, Vividi, Robbo, Fabinho, Hendo, Keita, Salah, Bobby, and Carvalho. So no Luis Diaz. Nearly put Mane in as well. No Luis Diaz in there, just Carvalho.
No Darwin Nunes either. Interesting.
Yeah, no Darwin Nunes neither. 3-1 at Liverpool. Zane has gone for as well, and Josh has said cheer up Chris as well, and 4-0 Genie has gone for as well. But Doug, before we do head off, my friends, what would be your score prediction for Monday night?
I'm going to go 2-0 Liverpool. I think we'll get a clean sheet. I'm going to go 2-0. I'm going to say Nunes and Salah.
The goal scorers from last week. For me, I'm going to go 3-0. I think Darwin is going to get a double. I think he's going to get a brace. And then I think the next goal will be Harvey Elliott.
Oh, interesting.
I was going to go Mo Salah. No, actually, no, I'm going to change it. I'm going to go Mo Salah because I need fantasy league points. Because he is my captain at the minute anyway. But yeah, 3-0 for Liverpool for me personally. Anyway, and Doug's gone with 2-0 as well. But yeah, Liverpool 3, Crystal Palace 1 as well from Chris. And yeah, I think pretty much everyone's gone for similar score lines. Zane's gone 3-1, Chris has gone 3-1, Jeannie's gone 4-0 as well. Chris has gone Salah, Nunes, Diaz for us, AU for Palace as well. Yeah, no, AU's a weird one, isn't it? He does score weird goals weird times. Yeah,
he's a very, very weird player playing against us. But we shall see. I'm just hopeful of a clean sheet, but we'll see.
Well, 3 points would be nice. I don't care if it's 1-0, 2-1, whatever. Just 3 points would be brilliant for the first home game at Anfield this coming season as well. And hopefully we will get to see Darwin Núñez start anyway for Liverpool. That's the big hope anyway for Monday night's game. And hopefully Joel Matip will be okay. But of course, we'll find out probably over the weekend the extent of the damage anyway concerning, of course, Joel Matip. Man United looks like that jacket you wear as built.
To be fair, it does actually look like a high vis kind of jacket. It's absolutely awful kit.
You just see the people going like, yeah, we're not using high vis jackets anymore. We're just going to use Man United kits. There's just give them all around as well. But yeah, it's horrific. Who's getting a hat trick at Old Trafford? Choose your pick. Is it going to be Darwin or Mo? Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, my God. Like, imagine Lautaro Martinez against Darwin Núñez. You couldn't handle him in the Champions League. We can't get too ahead of ourselves anyway. We do have an important game against Crystal Palace.
Yeah, we do.
Anyway, but yeah, that will be next week when we talk about Liverpool versus Manchester United. Hopefully we'll get a few Mancs on the channel. I can already think of one Manc in my head. There is also a Scotsman that also like to wind up if they lose against Brentford on the weekend. And I am thinking
I wonder who that is. Is it Mr. RR for chance?
Maybe. Anyway, I'd laugh if they lose. I'm sorry, I will take the mick out of him. Even if we lose to them, I would take the mick out of him forever for it. Anyway, I'm kidding. We're going to battle them next week anyway. But of course, important game against Crystal Palace. Anyway, coming up on Monday night as well. Under the lights at Anfield as well. It is at 8 o'clock anyway. But of course, we've spoken about Crystal Palace. We've spoken about the Ballon d'Or nominees as well. And of course, injury news, starting them prediction, and of course, score prediction as well. But Doug, thank you very much for coming on to the of course, match preview show. First of all, anything coming up on your channel, and just give your channel a shout, really.
To be honest, the next time is obviously Tuesday, the Prem prediction show. I think I've got the lads from the 1892 Reds podcast on that, so that'll be very, very good. Just the Dugout Football channel. I'm going to be so glad on Sunday because we're getting thunderstorms. So if anyone is afraid of thunder and lightning, just grab your thunder buddy and say those magic words.
Big thank you to Doug for coming on tonight's show. For God's sake, Douglas. I was fully expecting it as well, but I was like, I was so let down. You were the chosen one, Anakin. For God's sake.
Funnily enough, I actually managed to catch up with that Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Very, very good series, actually.
Well, the last 2 episodes saved it quite a lot. The rest of it was like, and then it just went amazing straight away, the last 2. So I'm hoping there is going to be a season 2 for Obi-Wan Kenobi. Anyway, but of course, if there's any mods in the chat as well, then please leave Doug's link in the comment section down below. Please go and subscribe over to Doug's channel as well. Anyway, but Chris says, I love thunder and lightning. I'll stay outside in it. Don't think that's really safe, Chris.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea,
if I'm being perfectly honest anyway. But guys, big thank you to each and every single one of you as well. Hopefully we'll have an opposition preview for you guys over the weekend as well. Probably more likely Sunday now. We might post that anyway. And of course, is there any other news that happens, injury news or any other particular news as well? We haven't really mentioned about Liverpool potentially expanding the Expedia deal as well on the sleeves. The sleeve sponsorship, that's apparently a thing that's happening. We'll speak about that tomorrow if there's any other news anyway. But if not, then have a fantastic rest of your weekend as well. Like I did say, if you're new around here, viewing us for the first time, then please hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that notification bell as well, because YouTube don't like to remind people of notifications. They just don't for some reason. Anyway, but yeah, guys, big thank you to each and every single one of you. Hopefully you have a fantastic rest of your weekend. I've been Connor from the Cop Council. We'll see you all then. Ta-ra.